Hey everybody. So I want to talk about something that happened last night in the Bruins-Capitals game, and it's Brad Marchand refusing to fight Lars Eller. Now, there's obvious backstory to this, and if you haven't seen it, you can easily just look it up. Just look up Marchand Eller. On the opening night of the NHL season, Boston got destroyed by Washington 7-0, and Lars Eller scored the seventh goal for the Capitals. And after he scored the goal, he did this big celebration and taunted the Bruins bench. And he was asking for an ass beating, and Brad Marchand decided to give him the ass beating, which I'm 100% in Marchand's defense on his side on that. I'm a very old school guy when it comes to hockey. If you're going to taunt the bench in a 7-0 game, you absolutely deserve to get your face beaten in. If that had happened in the 80s, guys would have come off the bench to beat your face in. So I'm 100% with Marchand on beating up Lars Eller for taunting the bench in that game. I would have done the same thing, and I think throughout NHL history, someone would have done the same thing. Whether it was the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, or now, if you taunt the bench in a blowout game, you are asking for it. Someone's going to come after you, and Marchand was the guy for the Bruins who decided to go after Eller, and I'm 100% on his side with that. But then last night, Eller comes back at Marchand and offers him and wants to fight him and tries to get him to fight. And Marchand pulls a complete rat, dirtbag, agitator move, which is what Marchand is. He's a rat and an agitator, and he's doing his job. But his gloves are glued on, and he completely refuses to fight. And it's just infuriating to watch. You have to answer the bell in that situation. You have to drop your gloves there. You have no problem going after him in a 7-0 game and then getting a jump on him and not, TKOing Lars Eller in the first game of the season. So when you do that, you establish yourself as a guy who's willing to fight. The second you do that, you establish yourself as a guy who's willing to fight. So now when he comes after you and wants retribution for that, you need to drop your gloves in that situation. That is the honorable hockey thing to do. That is what the code would have you do, is you drop the gloves and you answer the bell in that situation. You beat him up, now he wants a chance to redeem himself, you give it to him. And Marchand didn't do that, and this is the kind of move that some of my all-time most hated players would have pulled. This is a Claude Lemieux move. This is a Sean Avery move. This is a complete rat move. And Marchand is a rat. He's an agitator. And he's a guy, he did his job because he drew a penalty. Eller got a penalty, Marchand did not, and he got the Bruins a power play. So from an agitator's point of view, he did his job. But from an honorable, code-following hockey fan point of view, this was a trash move from Brad Marchand. And I'm not surprised he didn't fight him, but I really wish he would have. As a Bruins fan, we all love Marchand because he's a great player. He plays his role as an agitator extremely well. He knows what he's doing. But if this guy was on any other team, I would hate him. I would absolutely hate his guts. And it's because he does stuff like this. There have been a lot of agitators throughout NHL history that I absolutely hate. And there have been some that I like. And there have been guys who they know their role, they know they're there to get under the other team's skin, to draw penalties, to really, piss guys off, and that's their role. But I respect the guys who do that, but are willing to answer the bell for it, are willing to drop the gloves from time to time. Perfect example is Matt Barnaby. Matt Barnaby in the 90s and early 2000s was as big of a agitator and rat as you could get. But Barnaby was never afraid to drop the gloves. I mean, he didn't fight every chance he possibly could, but he was a guy who on many, many occasions would drop the gloves and answer for what he was doing. And he had a lot of fights in his career. Brad Marchand has like 4 or 5 fights in his entire career. He hardly ever stands up and answers for anything that he does. Barnaby would answer, Barnaby would drop him, and he fought some very, very tough guys throughout his career. Brad Marchand's fight card does not have tough guys on it. And Lars Eller, of all guys to refuse to fight, Lars Eller, are you kidding me? That guy is in no way a fighter. He has like 1 or 2 career fights. How do you refuse a fight from Lars freaking Eller? Now, if Tom Wilson came after Marchand, Wilson would absolutely pound Marchand. I would understand a little more why he wouldn't want to fight a guy like that. If Adam McQuaid or Ryan Reeves came after Marchand, I don't think he'd want to drop the gloves. But this is Lars Eller, as you know, complete not a tough guy. How do you refuse that fight? You know, another guy who was a big-time agitator but was willing to stand up and answer the bell for on most occasions was Steve Ott. Another guy I really enjoyed watching play and respected because he could get under your skin. He was always running his mouth. He had a big mouth. He could be downright dirty at times with the stuff that he did. But he fought on many, many occasions. He was a guy who fought multiple times a year and was always willing to stand up and answer the bell in most occasions. So guys like that I respect. They have a role. They're supposed to draw penalties and get under the other team's skin. They do it, but they're willing to stand up and answer when they need to. Marchand, he never answers. You know, he never answers for it. And this was just another occasion. You go after Eller, which you're 100% in the right in doing, but now he wants redemption. He wants to come back after you, and you sit there with your gloves glued on. That's not how hockey should be played. And if this was the 80s, Marchand would have gotten jumped. Marchand would have gotten jumped because after refusing to fight Eller, Washington would have sent their real tough guy off the bench, and he would have just started throwing. He would have grabbed Marchand and started throwing and sent him a damn message that you're not going to pull this crap against us. So I firmly believe, as a Bruins fan, that Brad Marchand should have dropped the gloves with Lars Eller last night and given him that fight. It's a rat move not to. It's not an honorable move not to. And Lars Eller, after the game, said that there's not much integrity in Marchand's game. He's not wrong. Marchand is a rat. And if he was on any other team, I would absolutely hate him. But he's on the Bruins. He's a guy who can score 30 to 40 goals. And he's an absolute, does a great job as an agitator and getting under people's skin, including getting under my skin when he does stupid stuff like this. So as someone who's an old school guy, I think he should have fought in that situation. There's no reason to keep your gloves glued on against Lars Eller. Have some honor, have some respect for the game, and if you're gonna jump him, then when he comes back to fight you, you've got to drop him fair and square and go with him again. Heck, maybe you TKO him again. I mean, it's not like Lars Eller is a good fighter. Maybe you frickin' knock him out and give your team a huge boost, and then now you're 2-0 against Eller on the season, and it looks good for you. I mean, I would understand it if it was Wilson coming after him, but how do you refuse a fight against Lars Eller? So I just think he should have fought, and it was a total rat move that he didn't. Something that some players I absolutely despise would have done. Ulf Samuelsson, Claude Lemieux, Sean Avery, those type of guys. I just can't stand them, and it's a total rat move. So with that, like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. Check out offthewallhockey.com. All those links are down in the description below. If you'd like to further support the channel, the links to our Patreon and merchandise store are down in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.